Wow.
Hey.
Alrighty. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Rule 0, John Fitch here, and some fine gentlemen joining me. I don't know who else is jumping in today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk
I'm
about
here.
that misogynist Jonah Hill.
Oh my God, what a misogynist.
What a misogynist. What a terrible person. What a kind of person sets realistic boundaries and is polite.
How dare he put his expectations into writing,
I
John?
know, right? It's not even a boundary that he set. It's more an announcement he made where it's like, I am leaving you because of this. So done.
Yeah.
He was so polite and broad
nice.
about it.
Yeah, he didn't really need to even go through the effort. He should have just left, which is my kind of my point. I made a video, made a Fitch Pill video about this, and that was kind of my point. It was like, if this guy, people saying he's red pill or based, I was like, not really, because it never would have gotten to this point if he really was red pilled. He wouldn't have to explain his situation. He would have recognized the red flags. If you don't like your girl hanging around certain people and going to certain parties and hanging out with bad surfer people, like, you're gonna notice her doing that. Like, if she's not into you and she's not following your lead, like, she's not gonna leave that stuff alone. It's a red flag. Bye. It's not gonna work. You know,
If she doesn't bring it up herself, then just never mind. Because were they dating or were they committed? Because that's something I don't know. Because if they were committed, he brought it up way too late. He should have brought it up before he even wanted to commit to her, where it's like, hey, I love hanging out with you, but I don't commit to girls who do X, Y, and Z, and just left it at that. And then it would have been up to her, where it's like, well, I do kind of want to commit to this guy, but... And then she could have made the choice, like, okay, I'm going to stop.
And honestly, a lot of it isn't even something he has to say, because if she's really into him and he's like, I don't like this group of friends, they're trash, like, you don't even have to say it. He just doesn't want to hang out with them. Like, oh, me and my friends are going to go to this thing. I don't want to go. Why not? I don't like those people. I'm going to go do this thing. If she's into you, she's going to end up going with you. She's going to always follow you. You're not even going to have to ask.
Pretty much.
End of show. Never had the chance, though. He's never had game before. Jonah Hill was the fat kid on Superbad. He only finally got attractive once he made Superbad money. And even then, he lost weight and he still looked like he looks like the former fat kid now, which is horrible. Like, you don't lose weight. You got to add muscle. You can't just replace it with nothing. You get that weird loppy skin. And so, yeah, of course he doesn't know what he's doing. He probably had his PR agent tell him about boundary enforcement. I have a feeling that wasn't his idea. That's my guess.
Therapist.
Yep.
Guess we know what Ryan does in his free time.
Not watch 21 Jump Street, that's for sure.
21 Jump Street was actually pretty funny.
It actually was surprisingly really good.
Derailed. Yeah, I didn't mind Superbad. I didn't find it to be all encompassing. I think the Goonies is much better. But I mean, yeah, on this thing, you watch it with a girl, and it's just at some point you realized he got into that not knowing what he was getting into. It's not like she was being dishonest. The part that makes me laugh is she got exactly what she wanted. He's like, hey, you can pick your whole life or me. And she picked her whole life, and now she's putting him on blast for that. How dare you let me do whatever I want and then have an opinion about it and do something else?
Because now he's happy. You just had a kid, right?
Yeah, I think she wants to steal that baby. I wanted the baby, you son of a
bitch. I think that's the whole reason this is all even coming out. She's pissed that he moved on and is having this life. Like, why bring this up now?
That is a good question.
I think it's hilarious that anytime a guy sets boundaries, does anything basically that makes a chick somewhat upset, it's abuse now. It's emotional abuse.
100%.
We've been headed in that direction for a really long time. And I hate text. And this is a great example of why. Texts just suck. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you say on text. They can always inject some sort of emotionalism on top of it and say something about it that actually didn't exist.
That's why voice and video is better than text, guys. I have a whole stream on that. So
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Touche.
Oh, the
Mel
video.
Gibson in me.
Yeah.
He started ranting about the Jews. I don't understand.
And now
I'm
we're
joking.
properly
I get
red
it.
pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't a person alive that hasn't, started this texting thing. I mean, obviously, Aaron's old enough to remember when there was no such thing as text.
I am that
I'm
old.
that
And
old.
so-
Come on.
I'm that old too. Yeah.
But it was like when Aaron and I were kids in school, you could pass a little note around, and then it was the worst thing ever if somebody got a hold of that note that shouldn't have got a hold of it, right, Aaron?
God, yeah. Right, tough, man. You're bringing back horror
You'd
memories.
say, "Oh, I
yeah.
like you," and you'd pass the little note, and some bastard would intercept it, right? Look, Aaron likes Susie.
Has anyone thrown this angle at it? That in the olden times, speaking of passing notes, that it's also a money grab. Where okay, you're not married anymore. You don't have the force of law to enforce alimony or being taken care of. And now I came up like a law or an axiom or whatever an axiom is, that all interactions with women must be compensated either through finances, a mental price, a psychological price, but absolutely 100% your time. And if they're going to so now Overton's window moves where, oh, you're married, she stayed at home, took care of the kids, women weren't allowed to work, in 1705. Okay, you got to pay this gal alimony. But now they're like, well, wait a minute, I was in a situationship and I gave him 3 years of my late 20s. I demand satisfaction, like Foghorn Leghorn. He puts a brick in the glove, slaps him. So
I wouldn't be surprised if she almost went up to him. It's like, hey, if you pay me some hush money, I won't throw this shit out. Throw out your DMs.
Yeah, but it's not even necessarily a financial price. There must be some kind of price where
she got a book coming out.
How dare you take my time, and if you don't behave exactly perfectly the way I want, you are going to pay a societal price. Even so, in other words, it's just you're going to pay a price. It's just so
know
damn
what you're
risky
talking about.
now.
Yeah. Actually, there is a red pill thing on this. Verbal intercourse is optional, to teach a lot of guys about that. And the idea was, you use the analogy where if you try to sleep with a girl and she says no, you don't then chase her around the house with your dick hanging out half erect, right? And in the same way, if a girl wants to talk or wants your time and attention and you say no, she can't be just chasing you around the house demanding a conversation. And I love it when you put it in those terms, because then a guy understands exactly how horrible it is to have a girl chasing you around with her time and attention demands. Although I guess a lot of people might
but is sex involved, or is it
was a
is it
marriage
sex,
reference.
or is it just dumbass shit she's going to say all day? That's
Well,
I
yeah.
mean that's a very
to her
important,
that was important. She loves the dumbass shit in the same way that you like, anal or whatever it is you like. It's just it's neat because then everybody loves those equivalencies. So you get to say, okay, so this is what guys want. I would love you to put out all the time, and this is the girl equivalent. I would love to talk to you like my gay bestie for like 5 hours. And so at least then guys understand there is differences between men and women. But you're right. I always find too the anger from it, Aaron, comes when
what's that?
I think the anger comes from when guys assume girls aren't girls. They're just guys with breasts. And then when girls start acting like girls, they get really angry. It's like, that's not what we do. We don't do that here. It's like, oh no, they do. You don't, but they do.
Yeah. Do you want to date another dude? Do you want to
it.
date another dude, guys? Like,
yeah,
chicks operate differently, and that's just how they are.
Because Cap is single, if you're
enough
wondering.
You think this could also be like she was never really that into him kind of thing, and she's just pissed that he thought it was more serious than it was, and she's like, "What do you mean you're breaking up with me? I'm not into you."
I think that happens to a lot of guys and a lot of chicks, right? A lot of chicks end up settling with a guy for whatever reason, but they're totally not into him. That's where you get, early relationship. If you're early on in a relationship and the chick stops putting out within the first 6 months, she's not into you. She's settling with you.
Well, I mean, he sounded like in this text that he was addressing her hanging out with surfer dudes and ratchet women all the time. Yeah. So I mean, like, if she's not correcting that behavior, pretty early on when she
On her
starts,
own
on her
steam.
own when she starts dating you.
Yeah.
Like she's not into you.
She's looking for a nesting partner.
Yeah, a nesting partner. She's looking to get some kind of resources or something from you. She's not really there to invest in you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Could it also be a combination between John and Paul? Kind of what you're pointing towards, insinuating, is kind of a post-marriage hybrid or new relationship status where marriage is off the table. Okay, fine. But they still want some kind of commitment, or like, yeah, I got a boyfriend, I have some kind of security, but I could still go and hoe it out.
Yeah.
And because there's a lack of clear definition and, let's say, principles more modernly for younger people today, that you can operate in this gray area. And how dare you sprinkle in a little bit of feminism. How dare you say I can't go hang out with John Fitch and Thor and Jack Napier at the gym and rub oil on their muscles?
Sprinkle a little bit of Marxism,
a little bit of oil,
feminism, a little. Well, yeah, okay, soaked and pickled and brined.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the text, and actually, the text is really clear. He talks about inappropriate relationships. Which obviously before. And I just did a quick search, and from Vogue to New York Times to all of these Vanity Fair have capitalized on this single text as basically he's the oppressor, she's the oppressed, which is the Marxist concept, right? And they're tagging it with abusive, emotional abuse, which has been their goal all along. It's really pretty entertaining to read, but then you realize that the convicted weirdos out there are taking this really serious. The number of hits these things have had. You think it's artificial? You think they're pumping this story? Possibly. I hate to be conspiratorial, but it's not.
It did happen.
Where Cappy said he wants to rub us in with oil. Yeah.
So this has been they've been broken up for years. This is not a new thing.
Oh, you mean is it AstroTurf? Honestly, I think it's because it resonates with the audience, Thor. I think it's
really?
Because, dude, you get 35-year-old soccer moms. What do they hate more than anything? Their husbands. What do they hate even more than him? The guy that got away. So when you see this example of like a jaded, jilted woman that's acting like a damn fool, of course they're into that.
Then it's brilliant marketing, right?
Like, I hate my ex, but I would never do that.
Oh, so brilliant marketing, right.
Yeah, she gets to be a better person than that bitch. And she gets to live out the fantasy of living vicariously through that bitch. And again, talks to her friends about that bitch. It's all about that bitch.
Yeah. Middle-aged white women.
Margot Robbie thing was like a perfect example of this too. Girls, as soon as you called Margot Robbie. As soon as you call her a mid, every other girl who thought she was so pretty basically heard you call her an ugly skank.
Yes.
How does that affect me?
I got to get more into my emotions. Yeah.
If she's mid, what am I? I don't know. Frumpy?
Yeah, but there's two huge negative consequences to prostrating this or parading it on the internet through whatever media platform. Guys are looking at, like, you got to discern between what is the internet and what is reality. And I think the two worlds are forever getting closer and closer. But you look at that, it's like, Jesus Christ, is this what girls think about us? Like, not necessarily, but it's certainly what internet and journals and Hollywood types think about you.
Or is it also just narrative control? They're just trying to
it could be whether it's narrative control or not, or whether it's saucy, juicy drama, tabloid marketing. You see this on the internet. One, it deters men. They're like, what? Yeah. Every interaction is going to have some kind of like, is this really? And then it also emboldens women. Yeah, and then it emboldens women like, oh, how dare you? Like Ryan was saying, oh, I hate the alpha widow who got away. My husband's a P. How dare it? This is not doing the sexes any favors. But I'm starting to wonder, like, how much of this is going from theoretical fiction on the internet to real world policies you got to deal with when you end up going out and dating in the real world.
I think it's pretty substantial. I think there's a lot of women out there who are like, oh, you're not going to tell me I can't hang out with my ratchet friends. I can't do hoe shit. Like, right. I think you're going to get that a lot. And it looked like through his text, he had mentioned you can't use the 25 excuse. She's probably using that feminist, like, whatever, I'm young, I should be being a hoe right now and playing and doing all this stuff. He was looking for marriage and family.
Yeah.
So she was trying to run around and do the typical feminist hoe phase, and he's trying to settle down, and they weren't lined up.
Dude,
so he said bye.
That's the funniest part of that too, John. So they're looking for different things. He decided to say, if you're looking for a different thing, you're not for me. She decided, I'm going to do my thing. So everybody got what they wanted. So why is everybody so unhappy?
Everybody got what they wanted.
Everybody got what they wanted. And they're all bitching and moaning. I was like, Jesus. Like, you can't, how do you not laugh at this stuff? Like, how do you not wear your asshole glasses? Like, really?
I watched a stream on Tuesday from another guy I know in the space. He's kind of leans to the blue pill a little bit, and his take on this whole thing was that the pictures that she was putting on there weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. I don't know what his problem was, and that's not the point. They might not have been that bad to you. To me, I didn't think her pictures were that bad. I probably would have put the the breakup hammer on her for those types of pictures, but those aren't my boundaries, right? Like those are his boundaries, and whether he was insecure about it or not, it's not the point. That's just what he's going to tolerate or not tolerate. That's up to everybody when they're in a relationship. Figure out what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. And then that's how you set those boundaries.
If you meet somebody and they're a professional athlete or they have some kind of career, whatever, you don't know much about it. Like I'm sure it wasn't the bathing suit stuff that got them, triggered. It's probably the parties and the people they're hanging out with, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that this is what you people are doing after you get off the waves. You're a bunch of degenerates. I'm not comfortable with that. So then you start taking the bikini pictures and thong pictures in different contexts a little bit, maybe. And if you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it. You gotta look at, like, is this how I want to live my life? Is this what I want to go through for the next 20 years? Do I constantly want this feeling in my stomach? No. Next. Yeah. Move on.
People tolerate different things. I mean, look at Adam.
You're not a monster for
wife get blacked on TV, and he's cool with it.
For her troubles.
Have we done anything
it feels like it is a consorted effort to shame men for having boundaries of any type.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it works. How many guys actually acquiesce?
You got little dick energy. How dare you put up a boundary?
Have we talked about anything?
Backs off when his wife gets angry, walking on eggshells. So why wouldn't you? As a girl, why aren't you shaming your man? They always back off. And that's not even their problem. That's the guy's problem. It's like nobody forced you to back off. What's she going to do? Fight you? Do you think Jonah Hill, after losing all that weight, can't take on a surfer chick? No. So what can she do to him? Nothing.
Yeah. It speaks to a bigger problem. Women definitely are leading most relationships, and that is a huge problem.
That's a good one. Somebody's saying she's advertising.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
she's using it as a way to advertise to other males. Get more male attention. Look at this horrible relationship I was in. Look at this piece of crap. Love me. Surf with me.
Well, it's also very telling. You guys, Ryan, I know, at least Allie, right?
Yeah.
And now she's taking a hiatus because she's raising a child, which it's a new fad that a small minority of women are doing, is raising their children. But she'll occasionally post a picture on her Instagram of, guess what? The little child, and having fun with the little baby. And that's the Instagram account is what's important. That's what their God is. That's what they're worshiping. And if you want a committed relationship as a guy, you damn well better be there. And if this girl's posting party pictures and this, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. That's not the girl for you. And Jonah Hill handled it just fine. No, these are the rules. But by God, the backlash, it tells you all you need. No, she wants to kill the party. She wants to be the party girl. She's more important that she has her party life and social life. And absolutely 100%, there's other dick. She's fishing for other dick in there. Full stop. That's it. If your wife or girlfriend or whatever is like, I gotta go with my girlfriends, I gotta go. No, I'm gonna go. No, it's just no. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. No, it's not happening. And you got. I wish we could embolden or at least plant the fact, not the idea, not the theory, the fact that you have every right and absolutely should be like, look, if we're in a committed relationship, I'm the number one. All right. And this whole party phase. I'm going to the night. You're not going to no fucking nightclub. Absolutely not. You can, but I'm not going to be home. You know, you go do your thing. And that is a very simple, self-respecting rule that every man should have when it comes to your relationships.
Wouldn't it be though? That'd be what a wonderful world. Hoe away. Bye.
Well, it's getting so exhausting now where I got to imagine maybe back in the day, women had a little bit of
etiquette and decorum, maybe.
Well, decorum and etiquette and refinery and things like that. But just no, I'm going to choose not to do this out of respect and care and love and commitment to my significant other. And now it's this perpetual babysitting. It's like dealing with a child. I don't know if you guys ever dated a gal who was, kind of doing this, but there are several gals, one in particular, like, oh no, I'm just going out with this friend. Now I was young enough. I was also poor and had other important things going on. It wasn't like, oh, okay. But no, she ended up finding out she's like a prostitute. Like that was her sugar daddy. Cause it didn't make any sense. Like this guy is fat and ugly and old. And like she getting dicked down by him for money. That's how she could afford the apartment. Long story. But it was a younger person. I should like, yeah, okay, fine, bye. Yeah, no, this is not acceptable. Goodbye. See ya.
So how much of this do you think is that common strategy? Because when I was more social, I heard this to a lesser level. The gals would complain, the single ones would complain about their previous relationships being so shitty and abusive. And it was kind of universal, almost like they were crying out, come rescue me, come rescue me. How much of this might be that? You just brought up that she's doing this to advertise, right? That's what the text said. How much of that is inbuilt to come rescue me? I'm the damsel in distress. I have been abused previously.
Tons of it. It works so goddamn well. Dude,
it does.
How many guys have that, like, I can save her attitude? Do you know the one?
A lot. I just did a whole stream on that yesterday.
Yeah, and that's on some level, women know that. And
I think we have it. I think that's a feature, not a bug in males. I really do.
Sure. For
they
sure.
Play against it. They play
I can save this little thing. I can save her. Like,
it worked great back when there was real danger outside, but there's no
homeless, marked up girl walking out the street, and I could save her. No.
We overlooked the common denominator in that equation, though.
So that's the thing. I think that's part of girl game. Act weak and helpless, and a guy who wants to, and the exact kind of guy who falls for that is the perfect guy for a mark. It's the perfect Nigerian email scam. Poorly written email talking about being a victim. Only an idiot with more money than sense would actually fall for it. Oh, it's beautiful. Jonah Hill fell for it. I'm just saying. She probably had that same woe is me. I'm just trying to be a better person. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna go do some blow with this dude over here. I'll see you later.
I mean, looking at his text, he figured it out. The only thing I would say that he made a huge mistake in it was he just didn't ghost.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that you would have personally. And then as soon as it's violated, that's it.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Don't talk about it. Yeah. What do they say? Don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. Just walk the walk.
In the strategic or using the strategy to, I'm the damsel in distress. What's particularly cryptic or kind of scary is how now, like the concept of emotional abuse, where if I just disagree, again, we start moving from, a disagreement. It's very scary, from a disagreement to now legal ramifications. And Thor, you're touching up
even more. Like they're teaching my kids in school that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words last forever.
Right.
Right. What does that mean? Well, if I punch you in the face and break your jaw, that heals. But if you call me a bad name, that hurt that you caused me last forever.
You can't heal mentally.
That's what they're teaching them. So now we have generations of kids who've been taught this. They believe that the words you say are worse than the violence that I can commit.
Right.
That's a fact. And now there was a public announcement billboard in LA when I was driving to LAX that basically stated the same thing and had a little kid looking over a fence.
But now what I'm concerned about is they're essentially laying the principle or what's the word I'm looking for? They're laying the logical foundation or the argument or the case to make disagreements, arguments, even insults, abuse, which would then provide the legal framework by which to arrest you, put you in jail, or fine you. and they just keep. It's like you're booby trapping women. Where any interaction, like if you dare hold some stand, if you don't let them do whatever they want, run truly feral, now we could construe that as abuse. Now we could go after you legally, and already Jonah Hill has paid a price in the court of public opinion. I'm more worried about 15, 20 years from now. Would say Fitch's kids grow up. Do they got to worry? Yeah, do they got to worry about telling their wife like, hey, no, you can't go party with the neighbor? No, you need to lose weight. No, you we should have sex. Where I mean, they're really they don't realize it, but they are ostracizing women out of the dating, courtship, romance, and certainly the marriage market by making it more and more risky to interact and associate with them.
And yeah, and it only goes one way too. It only goes one way too, right? The emotional abuse is only towards women. Like when women piss us off and make us angry, isn't anger an emotion too? But that's not emotional abuse, right? Women piss us off all the time.
It's only when we react when it becomes emotional abuse to them. It's like, what is that Bill Burr skit?
Warfare.
But it can't be abuse because their foundation is based in Marxism. It's the oppressed oppressor. So your reaction to that,
I don't know about that. It's like women being women. Like on a societal level, it's mostly Marxism, but it's also women being women. But who remembers that Bill Burr skit? Like I might get into trouble for this one, but remember the whole Rihanna thing? It's like, hey, an ass whooping doesn't come falling from the sky. What did she do?
Yeah. And speaking of abuse, do you guys remember? I can't remember who it was. It was some broad on
the guy you threw her into the TV.
No, she called girl on Twitter though. She called it coercive abuse. Like literally just throws adjectives in front of abuse now. Just say whatever. It's the internet. Yeah, coercive abuse by establishing a boundary. And I'm like, dude, chef's kiss. That's awesome.
I had an ex who Pop-Tart abused me.
Oh, wow. This bitch.
She ate my Pop-Tarts.
That bitch.
Knew they were mine.
And then Aaron, you're talking about the 20 years down the line issue. We've already got an example of this and exactly how it's going to go. The Me Too thing. Remember that? Everybody was talking about Me Too, trust all women in the workplace. And then what happened 5 years, like not even a year later, they were like, hey, male mentors don't want to mentor me anymore. And it's costing me my career. Men need to step up. And they were like, no,
nope.
I'll mentor you, but I don't want to cost my career. So no, you're on your own.
We have Zoom for that now.
Yeah. And it's going to be, and that's probably where this is going to go. Either that or people are going to collectively decide not to. But if they keep pushing it, although maybe that's the plan, just sex dolls and artificial wombs and Bud Light chicks. I don't know.
It's an incredibly short-sighted strategy, whatever the political. I mean, if your aim is to destroy humanity and not have many women,
you want to depopulate.
Well, I know, Mr. Robot Dog Overlord. Yes, it's the builder group or whatever. I don't know if I go that far, but to me, at least to sane people, I don't know what the end goal. Why you would do this to drive such a stake and to make interacting with the opposite sex so damn risky. I
believe that they do not want strong families, because when you have strong families, you have centralized units that are self-sustaining. They don't need anything on the outside. When you have a strong family, strong extended family, and a strong church like culture in that town, like it's a strong town, and they don't need anybody outside of that. And that's the federal government wants you begging for their help and assistance. That's my long play idea. What they're doing.
I wouldn't doubt it, but what I would, and I'm not even saying this wouldn't happen, but if we were to play this game out with the current trends and the trajectory of where it's going, we're gonna have nothing but sperm banks and IVS and test tube babies, and not to, but I see a clear desire or a movement towards having men are not allowed to interact with women. That is an elite class. You don't get to associate with them unless you behave in these very narrow and precise parameters we have established for you. And you can't insult them. You can't hurt their feelings. You must give them money. There's no financial abuse. I mean, just all this Orwellian nightmare words and all that.
Provider eunuchs and the breeders.
Right, right. And just let me finish. And if if you don't interact with them, that's fine. We got sperm banks, and then that these girls could go ahead and still have their families, and the government will step in. That would make a perfect, obedient Borg-like society that would give every Democrat a wet dream. So I could see the incentive moving there, but it just goes so much against human nature. I don't know if women are upset on their side of the aisle. I know they're happy that 90% of the men are not hitting on them anymore or interacting with, but Jonah Hill, certainly after he lost his weight, given his money and status and fame, you got to think top 10% at least. And even that's not good enough. No, I still want to be. So they're aiming for this world that's never been attained by women before. And it's going to be dystopian where, well, we get either our own alpha male to ourselves or nothing at all. And how dare you plebes talk to us unless you do exactly as we say. So it's very interesting where the sexes are just not going to be able to interact with each other because for one sex, it's going to be practically illegal or just simply too risky.
I don't know. I think this was just a sheer fact of Jumbotron rule, where if he would have said this to her face, none of this would have happened, but she just happened to have the text. He just happened to have a baby. And she's like, fuck trophies for clout, but the other way around. I'm going to use his babies for my marketing. I think that's more of what's going on. She's just a jealous, jaded bitch.
Well, so somebody else had mentioned that it was she's probably hitting the wall, right? She's getting to that age where now she's oh no, maybe I made a mistake about settling down. Maybe she's getting to that point because these texts are a couple years old, and she's seeing what she could have had. Now she's pissed.
Yeah, like I said, she's just pissed off, and she's using his text for, I don't know, maybe some last whiff of clout.
We should let's look at
I bet she didn't do it in a vacuum, though. I bet there's some influence from friends, social people in her circle. I'm sure there was some support there to do that.
No, which way is better?
It does have a trailer park vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Babe, you know what you should do? Put them on blast.
Boy, it really smells like that, Ryan. Yeah.
Here's I put the texts, right? These are the boundaries.
So polite too about
it. I think part of this too is like he knows this is possibly getting Jumbotron because he's very careful with all of his wording,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this one's good. I like
very
this.
Clinically. All right, it says if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. I'm not right partner for you. These things bring you to a place of happiness. I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership.
So one of the things that stands out to me right away, John, is the fact that a lot of the detractors of him and even kind of the blue pill guys are saying, oh, the bikini pics aren't that bad. Notice that it's all in relation to boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men too. I mean, this is all about pictures with her, with other men, including sexual pictures. This isn't about her with solo bikini pics in any way, shape, or form as it's written. Yet that's how it's being presented to castigate this guy.
Well, yeah, you have to present it that way. Otherwise, you sound stupid when you say it.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you make it up? Come on. You can't be making this sound realistic.
I pointed out for the autistic guys, right?
That's not how clickbait works, Thor.
Get that reasonable nonsense out of here.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, there's a media part of it. That's the part I love, where everybody's a brand. Like, you remember even Rollo says, like, everybody's a brand now.
Mm-hmm.
And brands have their, like, it's 5 talking points. That's what you do. Rollo has the flagpole. John has the dogs. Clary has yelling at clouds or flipping the bird. And, like, everything that happens, you have to, how does my brand fit this? And so you got to, like, tweak a little bit around here, make Jonah look a little bit here, change the picture, Photoshop it so they look a bit more evil, and then it can fit your brand. And so everybody's building their own false narratives, my truth. And as a consumer, like, for all the people in the audience, you really need to just understand the fact that reading this stuff really does rot your brain. because everybody's take, us included, is going to be biased based on what we're brand identifying as.
Okay.
And so you're not getting information. You're getting a viewpoint. And in our case, I would argue it's a good viewpoint. It's instructional and it's helpful for you. But that benevolence, like most people don't have that kind of benevolence with their brand. Most of theirs, like feminists are pointing it out that he's abusive. Politicians are pointing out how Hollywoods are pedos. And like, how do you get that from this? I don't know, but we'll find a way. Ben Shapiro, roll tape.
It's like CNN discovered this years ago that it's much cheaper and more profitable to not send reporters out in the field and actually do real journalism. Instead, it's best to just have a couple of talking heads and have people duke out their opinions.
Commenting.
So that actually draws more people in. It's like fight night, but with people arguing about dumb shit, and it's just everyone's opinions now. It's not even real journalism or news.
Yeah, these are completely reasonable.
Yeah, and he's even saying like, "Hey, I support it. I'm just not going to be there for you, right?
Yeah,
I'm giving you a choice."
Like the biggest one on here: friendships with women who are in unstable places. Like that's got to be one of the biggest rules a guy could save a woman's life with that he makes for his girl. If you really care about your girl, yeah, you're going to put your foot down about toxic women and toxic relationships she has with other girls. Like, yeah,
her shitty girlfriends are probably the biggest killers of relationship.
Oh yeah,
well, that's the biggest one because in a woman's mind, generally, they're all doing it, so it must be okay, and this is built into them with their communitarianism.
But isn't that the biggest indicator of divorce as well? If her friends are divorced, something like that.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. That's a huge one. It's contagious.
Her friends start getting divorced, or she starts hanging out with divorced people. Watch out.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, I've got a Pew study on that. It would shock you.
Heck, even getting in a relationship, you should kind of understand this. Like I remember my roommate. She was awesome, great wingman. Soon as she settled down and started to have a family and a kid, she just started like excising all the hoes from her social media, and I was like, that's how it works.
Good girl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything, but at least shows investment. I don't know long term if they're still together. I can't get on Facebook anymore because they want a driver's license to change my password. So I'm like, oh, bye, Zuck.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm assuming they're still together. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the important lesson, even though this is gossip and tabloidy, I don't think it's the fact. Oh, look, crazy feminist. I think it's looking at society's reaction to this, and again, how much of this is real versus how much of this is internet drama. Like, okay, here is typical Hollywood tiff. Whoa. And then the rest of society is, oh my God, emotional abuse. I think that's where, Ryan, you're saying our approach to this is benevolent and productive. It's like, look, guys, this is, you have to even, I guess the lesson to learn from this is you got to, boundaries, critically important. And Paul, that's one of your main principles and tenets on your shows. And screening. And even, I guess now more modernly, having the concept that you are allowed to have and you should have boundaries. I think that's what the productive thing to take away from this. And I would also say the movement of this, where it's becoming more, you're getting set up, guys, is what I'm saying. That's what really concerns me about this. When we start using words like abuse, you guys are getting set up. And this is the way this is going. And so men should definitely have their guard up when it comes to this, because this isn't, you pass Susie Q a note in 1987, and then it's intercepted by Bob, and he reads it in front of the class, and you hate Bob. You're going to beat him up in the playground later. This is, maybe you lose your job. maybe you're brought up on charges. And so I think that's where the practical advice comes in on this.
How long were these guys or Jonah and this chick together?
Like a year or two, not even like a super long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. This all feels like a big constructed like push. I mean, it was a slow week, or they were covering something up going on, because I don't know why the story got pushed so big.
Well, you'll find that you really don't know a person. Like if let's say you do get into some kind of exclusive relationship, you really don't know them for the first 6 months to a year. Yeah, so if you really
don't know them until you've lived with them for a year.
Yeah, that's true. That's where things get real. But yeah, I mean, in that sort of circumstance, usually you'll see these types of signs start showing up within 6 months, right? Most people are on their best behavior for the first 6 months to a year, but then they start acting like who they really are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
isn't that 3?
If it lasted a year and a half, I would imagine she was already showing some of these types of signs, you know, and he was just letting it slide until then. But really, guys, one thing I tell guys is you should, if you're going out dating and you're actually looking for some kind of exclusivity, because I think most guys are, you need to have a list. You know, you need to have a list of what your must-haves are, and you need to have a list of things that you will not tolerate, and you need to not overlook those things. And a lot of guys will overlook them. They're like, "Oh, this chick fucks so good, I don't care what she's doing." Right? That's a big problem. You get these, you get these sort of, I don't know, almost like wife goggles. I think I learned from Ryan. You get these almost, these girlfriend goggles right away because you're projecting your own sort of attraction on these chicks, and you're not taking a step back and being objective. And that's really the trick, is really being lovingly detached enough that you can keep an eye on this stuff and don't ignore this stuff.
We don't have options too. That happens a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing. Guys get that sniper mentality when it comes to dating. Like the first chick that talks to them, they're like, all right, fuck all you other bitches. I'm going all in on this one chick. And that's not a good way to go either.
Yeah. I had a client who was going through a divorce and hadn't dated in a long time, just getting out there and start dating again. He was like trying to get serious with this chick who is also divorced and had 2 kids. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, he's waiting 2 weeks to go on a date with her. I was like, why aren't you getting dates with other girls? She's like, oh, well, I'm dating her right now. I was like, and
right. I guarantee she's dating other dudes in that 2-week period,
and I was like why? And I was like, why? I had to ask him. I was like, why are you dating a single mom? It's like that complicates things. Like, he's like, oh, well, I have kids, so I thought I was supposed to date single moms. I was like, bro, you don't have to do that. Like, blew his mind. There's no rule. There's no rule that says you have to date single moms because you have kids.
I have to.
I
mean, you can. I don't have a problem with single moms. I'm like one of the few guys in the space that doesn't have a problem with that. But that it has to work out, and you have to have boundaries.
I tried, but as somebody with kids, it's like almost impossible because you both have to have matching schedules. It's just like, it's not working.
That's the key, that you have to have a matching schedule, and you have to be able to tell her, like, hey, I'm not going to parent your kids. You're not parenting my kids. And like, it's just about us. And a lot of chicks can't handle that. And that's fine too. It's like, okay, well, bye, Felicia. Best of luck. Best of luck out there.
Let me get through this super chat real fast.
I gotta run.
Can of Rockstar. All right.
Enjoy your weekend.
Can of Rockstar says, what do you call a situation where the gal presents herself as a wholesome and then starts acting out after she gets the relationship? I mean,
you call her dumped.
Yeah, you didn't, like, first off, like, don't get into the relationship before a year. Date her for a year. If she can hold that wholesome BS for a year, like, that's pretty damn good.
Well, it's narcissistic. She did a good job. They call them masks, psychological masks. Sean Smith talks about it a lot, and that's why bipolar chicks, they feed off of what your image of a perfect woman is, and they feed off of that. Narcissists act a certain way to get what they want, but that's the problem, is psychologically it's taxing. That's the purpose of waiting this time, guys. Nobody can hold that for an entire year. So if you can last a year and she doesn't change, you at least know you're talking to the real person. Otherwise, and sometimes it's not even nefarious and evil. It's just because a girl really likes you, so she wants you to like her, so she acts a certain way. But like everything, even in the office, people at the office, remember those, anybody here have their 6 Sigma, black or green belts? The stages of getting together, it's storming, norming, performing, terraforming.
Yep.
Yeah. Even then, when you're working with a new group of people at the office, it takes like 3 to 6 months until you guys get comfortable with each other. The Navy briefed us on this. When you're deployed, your first 6 weeks are going to be fine. Everything's going to get along. And at week 7, you're going to be at each other's throats for about 3 weeks. And then you're going to finally get over it and get back to work. And sure enough, 7 weeks in, the chicks in the office were just yelling at everybody. And I was like, holy geez, how do they know this? Are we that predictable? And we are. So yeah, wait. Yeah. I got 2.
That was good. So let me ask a question to the panel. you're Jonah Hill, or you're a guy out there that gets exposed like this. What is the actionable advice? I don't see any response on his side right now, which is probably the best response you could have.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to make a statement. If he comes out and apologizes, that just makes him look weak. Just shrug it off. And if people ask you about it, like if he goes on an interview and they ask him about it, be like, hey, I have boundaries.
Smirk and giggle.
Agree and amplify. All that fun stuff. It's a shit test.
His text was very polished and diplomatic. He doesn't need to. I don't care how much they're screaming bloody murder in the streets. The rank and file people like, no, he's very, he's fine.
I think so too.
Go on vacation.
If he wants to fuck with her, take a picture with the fuck trophies and then just stare at the camera while he's kissing him on the cheek or something. Kind of like, this could have been you. But I mean, don't do that, but it would be funny.
I know, just go start another movie, make some more money.
27 Jump Street.
Write a funny movie where the villain is a female surfer.
Taylor Swift approach. I like it.
Forgetting what's her name, Brady, whatever. Sarah Brady. Forgetting Sarah Brady.
Oh, is that what the surfer chick's name is?
Forgetting Sarah Brady, I think, right?
I don't know. Honestly, out of all this, the one thing I never cared about was what her name was. I just looked for their nudes, and then I'm like,
this is the most fame she's actually gotten, mainstream fame she's actually gotten. Maybe that's why she did it.
She doesn't have an OnlyFans, so I'm like, my brand doesn't really need to care anymore.
Yet.
How much of that do you think is to get that internet fame and the digital attention?
Probably a lot.
You would. Well, it's certainly a factor to consider. I mean, okay, yeah, every girl wants attention, fine. And if you're in Hollywood or Hollywood adjacent, you definitely want attention. I'm just wondering if this is like, throw it on the internet, now people are talking about me, and I exist once again like Schrodinger's cat. I'm just wondering if and then by extension, this is probably no doubt to a certain level, every young man going forward is going to have to worry about any kind of interaction you have digitally with a girl being used down the road to garner attention and clicks on the internet. It's like a big digital global middle school now.
Yep, that's right.
Again, more risk now. So now you have to really be super careful about all your interactions with girls, especially digitally.
It's really interesting. I would like to know, and I know there's no way to know, but how many of these added liabilities that Jonah might have picked up on from this gal early on in order to avoid it. Obviously, he set his boundaries in the text very diplomatically, but just looking at her responses right now, I mean, you could see added liabilities like, is her relationship defined how much you measure up to her expectations? Obviously, her expectations was what was defining that relationship. And is she in direct competition with you? I can see all kinds of liabilities with just her response now. So yeah, very, very interesting. I wonder how many of those came to play before he actually got rid of her.
What if we flipped it? Like, what would the opposite of this world look like, where she's like doting on him and she's like the little Stepford housewife? It's so laughable almost now to imagine. It's like, no, I support him. He's my best and my only.
It would be like some dystopian Mad Max for chicks.
Well, women would probably hate it, but I always, to put a lot of everything that we talk about here and outside female-male dynamics, but politically as well, like I flip this script and look, it really provides a different viewpoint where what if she was just this nice, demure, sweet woman who just had the googly eyes for Jonah Hill and just smiling, and she's just happier the punch to be with the guy. Like that's what you want to look for. You don't want this tooth pulling, babysitting, and it shows you truly what is right and wrong. What is right? This is not an opinion. What's right? If it were to work, if they were going to be together, blah blah blah, she would just be on him like glue, and he'd be like smiling at her, and you could see two people that actually wanted to be together. And here you got the complete opposite. You
mean that woman wouldn't need a girls' night out, or she wouldn't have more male friends than female friends?
Exactly. Like, remember Paul Newman? Like, you're Paul Newman. Why don't you get every other girl? He says, why go out for burgers when I got steak at home? You know, like you could see, all right, they really liked each other. That's how it should be, guys. You shouldn't have to be babysitting and managing your girlfriend. That's a pain in the ass. And so another thing you could throw into this is like, flip it around. Like, what would it be if it's the opposite? And if you're like, oh, wow, that's like great. And if girls are going to argue that that's oppressive, that a girl actually likes a guy and the guy likes a girl and she'd want nothing more in the world than that guy,
you want to
enjoy
make
your miserable
happy?
freaking life. Enjoy being a miserable fucking spinster at 50 years old. I can't wait till your life is pointless and over and you get to debate whether or not to continue.
It's your fault though, Cappy. Right? If you're miserable at 50.
Right. I agree. It's my well, if I'm miserable at 50,
no, not you, her.
Fault.
She's miserable at 50 and it's your fault.
I know that too. Yeah, but it's so simple. Like I don't know much about Hollywood couples, but just you've seen them. Like, well, they're happy together. And you say, where would you rather be? I want to be with my husband. I want to be with my guy. The fact he's arguing with the freaking internet that she's posing half naked with dudes and going to parties, it shows you who's right and who's right. And society is wrong at this point in time. And Jonah Hill, the individual, is right. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm going to get going because I got to go to the gym and then I got to change some oil.
Sounds fun.
See you later, Cappy.
And I'm even going to listen to some Ryan. I'm going to binge on Ryan Stone and Carl's archive on Ryan Stone.
People have been doing that lately. I'm so honored, but it's so weird.
It's because we like Carl and we don't like you.
That's literally what they say, yes. And they say it to me like I'm supposed to say thank you. That's the worst part.
You know, that podcast Ryan has, he's an archive that's good.
Why Carl leave? Because he hated the audience. What do you want me to tell you?
That's funny. It's opening our head.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Hurt my fucking feelings, man. Ruined my day.
That's emotional abuse.
He's living the life, man, I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's living the life right there. You don't need this shit.
Yeah, that's a big psyop. Everybody's been convinced of like, oh, you've got to live this way to have a good life. This is the way it's done. When no, like, shouldn't you be working hard to like young to retire early and not have to like slave away at shit ever again? That's what I always thought. I don't want to be working when I'm in my 70s at some office.
A lot of people don't think very far ahead, though. That's the problem. They just think one moment at a time. It's like, I got the good job. Now, all right, I'm going to buy good stuff. And then before they know it, they've got tons of debt and they'll never retire and have that artificial crisis moment in their life where they ditch their wife because they slept with the maid and then they have a dude who's on Instagram. I think I'm talking about Schwarzenegger, actually. Never mind. God, I saw that maid finally. I saw the picture. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Her? I guess, I don't know.
The power of the poon, buddy.
You probably had next level Glock.
Power of the poon and convenience, you know?
Yeah. That's the steak at home when it's on.
She had a very strong grip.
What I think, when I see Chesty posted on Twitter once a while back, like the biggest reason why a guy fucks another woman is simply because it's a different vagina, right? Like, not because she's attractive or anything. It's just because it was available and it's another vagina.
It's like going to the moon because it was there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's levels. There's levels to it. Having said that, picture like the good thing, the news take on this, all these stupid guys talking about like you got to be 6 feet tall with 7-pack abs. Like Jonah Hill is not a tall guy. He's not an attractive guy, but he was famous and he had some like, you know, clout to him. Managed to fuck that hot surfer chick.
Yeah.
Is that really a bad? I mean, don't wife her up. That was his problem, but I think he could be like the king of the black pills. Jonah Hill pilled. Fuck Leo DiCaprio.
Nah, they'll still, you know, equate it to money. It's all about money. That's all chicks care about.
Right.
Yeah, that's not really the case, but yeah.
Oh, dude,
no, we know
the top
that.
100 richest people on earth, and every single one of them, would any one of them pull anything? No. At best, they're going to get some of them Epstein Island girls, but that's not really a bragging right. In fact, I'm pretty sure they want to keep that quiet. Meanwhile, what's that? Hunter Biden's kid? He's slaying it. Although those are mostly hookers. Then there's the Adam guy.
Some of them are probably underage too.
Yeah, fair. All right, I can't really think of a good example of a guy with money who slays it. Blazarian was even charging him on the company card. Oh, who's that Italian? The old Italian guy. He's got money and he's got hot chicks. Maybe him. He's the black pill example now. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Old Italian guy.
Yeah, he's like Thor's age. Oh, he's older than you, actually. I think he's tattooed up. He's Italian.
No, he's younger than me. He's like just under Roll's age. I know exactly what you're talking about. The guy that dances with the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
But like, he's Italian, and Delicious Taco says Italy for women is like Thailand for men. So maybe that's it.
Oh, possibly. Yeah. It's funny. I've known guys,
Italy and Spain. Yeah, I've
known quite a few guys like that absolutely slay. They don't want any part of bragging about it. Their discretion level is high. I mean, it's amazing, and so they have more.
Like one of
as you start blabbing and throwing receipts out there, you kind of kill yourself. You shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Because you make yourself kind of a target, and then the girls want to seek you out to tell you no.
Yeah, they do. So if you
wasting your time.
If you're a real slayer, you don't want to be on here doing that shit. It'll collapse on you.
It's a secret club, Ryan. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I remember back
in Fight Club. The rules of Fight Club.
You guys might remember this. This is an older reference. This is a 2000s reference. Do you remember there was this? I think it's Texas or Portland. They ran a coffee shop, and they actually had a blog where they would, like, as they were banging girls, they'd like write a blog post about it. Rating her, mid, would be back, performance was good. Internet found out about it.
Yeah.
Got him in so much shit that they had to close down their business.
I heard something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really old school one. I wish I could still find it. It'd be awesome. I'd do like a series on it. But yeah, for the guys bragging about their notches, it really is like playing with fire. Like, who are you appealing to? Guys who don't have notches, because guys with notches know to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Guys who don't think that's what you're supposed to do, right? Put spinners on your rims and brag about the titties.
It's the rules of Fight Club hold up here. They hold up true,
Yeah, because other girls are listening. Jeez, he talked about her like that in public. I better not give him any, because I don't want to be talked like that in public.
Exactly.
Of course, girls do it too. I mean, I guess for girls, like she put Jonah Hill on blast. Didn't cost him nothing. His wife probably got mad at him. And that was only, but no, his new wife's actually hotter than the surfer, wasn't he?
She's got a new kid. She might back him and go after her.
Well, she probably will, like now, but I'm just saying, between the two of them, which one's hotter?
The wife's got an advantage.
Well, he probably has already told his wife about all the horrible ratchet shit his ex-girlfriend was doing. So like,
oh yeah, maybe. Well, my only point to it is though, if the surfer
was a
chick was
habitual
hotter,
line stepper,
the wife is probably pissed at her. But if the surfer chick is uglier, then the wife's kind of like happy about it, Yeah, you couldn't get this. You should have just fucking hit the gym a little more, surfer chick. I don't know, I'm just speculating.
The surfer chick kind of has Helen Hunt vibes.
Oh, what do they call those? The affluent fives, I think Fort Worth calls them. They're just hot enough and they're very pleasant, so it balances out, gives the guy a perfect life and a family.
Kind of the girl next door vibe, you mean?
Yeah, well, he calls them affluent fives because in Fort Worth, he always sees there's like a bunch of rich guys and they're not with hot supermodels. Every single one of them, he's with, as he calls it, an affluent five, like your Taylor Swifts, your Jackie Onassis.
Yeah.
She's cute and she's very low drama. And it's like, I can see that. Work your ass off, make your money, and then like, what kind of girl is not going to fuck with any of that? And I guarantee you surfer chick would.
Smart men don't kiss and tell.
He is truly a power and a hunter.
Yeah.
Third. Esquire.
Oh man. So what are tactics, guys, that we can teach these younglings out here to have some strong boundaries without being called a crazy person?
I think sorry, go Paul. You go first, please.
I was going to say this kind of stuff needs to start early. Like if you're you shouldn't wait a year and a half to be setting your boundaries.
Part of your frame. You
should be doing this from the get-go, and you should be nexting chicks that are violating your boundaries like immediately. If you're dating multiple women, you're going to be able to decide, okay, this one's falling into my frame, this one's following my lead, this one's not. And not everyone's going to follow your lead, right? You're going to go in there with the intention of setting the tone and leading. But some chicks just aren't going to follow your lead. That's not on you. That's on them. And you just need to let those chicks go. Be like, okay, well, this isn't the right relationship for you, lady. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem is a lot of guys just aren't, they're not dating intentionally like that.
Yeah.
Early frame announcement. David Clare talks about that one too. It's absolutely awesome. It's most of the time girls aren't manipulating guys. Guys are just willfully ignorant to the stuff that they need to pay attention to. And the early frame announcement girls always do it. They tell you exactly who they are, you know, short of the narcissistic mask stuff we were talking about earlier. And so all you really have to do is just listen. Keep your eyes open and your heart shut. Do that at first. And more often than not, like, dude, was there any, like, looking at this, actually, you know what? I got a better example. This is going to be an acrimonious example. You guys don't mind if I bring up Anthony Johnson, do you?
Oh,
yeah, the dude from the Florida convention that shall not be named. I remember he was coming into the Red Pill subs now that he was hosting Rolos. It was like a big deal. Everybody in the sub hated him. And I got so much shit for working with him. But the point of the story is he came into the married Red Pill talking about his Medusa story where he married the girl, found out she was a prostitute. And I remember like the popular tweet on there was, or popular comment on there was a guy going, just look at this girl. Would you have given this girl one look and not thought, hey, that's not a prostitute? He's like, I'm not buying it. I think this guy's a fucking idiot. And then that was it. He got banned shortly after. But yeah. So if you ever look this up, look up Anthony Johnson Medusa. Look at the girl. Tell me you look at her and think wholesome girl next door.
Okay. Yeah, no.
But that's the point. Guys don't see with their eyes. They see with their heart.
That's right. They don't listen either. You know, if I was going to offer some of that, I'd just like exactly like Ryan said, listen, does she do blame shifting? Is she have the victim mentality? Is nothing ever her fault? Does she prefer male friends over female friends? Those are the sort of things, if you want a long-term relationship, you got to get away from.
Or her tits hanging out on the first date, like little things like that.
Little things like that. She'll tell on herself. Does she need girl time all the time? All that sort of stuff. And is your relationship a work in progress? I could tell right there with this relationship, it was a work in progress. Do you know they were hitting therapists?
Like
you were seeing therapist? Yeah, he was paying for her therapist. When he broke up with her, he was paying for her therapy and continued to pay for her therapy.
If you have a girl that announces your relationship is a work in progress, you should move on. Straight up. This is like
of all the I Can Save Her vibes. A therapist?
Yes.
He's in Hollywood. Why doesn't he just get her coke?
There was probably some, well, you know.
Well, he was trying to start a family. He was family mindset. He was pushing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, from the brick by brick, apparently.
And of course, that leads into the other one. By him getting her a therapist, it was very much a quid pro quo based relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't feeling she was getting her into the bargain. And you can see it now because she posted, I didn't get my equitable share out of that relationship. So I'll get it now.
What is she thinking is her equitable share? I can do whatever the hell I want, and you give me everything that I want.
Unlimited attention, absolutely.
Right? I get unlimited attention. I can have whatever friends I want. I go wherever I want. I can do whatever I want at any time, and you have to just take it.
Yeah.
Get in line.
Me first, me second, me third, me always. But I mean, like, there's no way you're oblivious to that. That's the worst part. This is why I shit on guys so much. I shit on everybody, but women and men especially for this. It's just guys are stupid and they want to be stupid.
They get distracted by the poon, buddy.
Yeah, and how does Rich put it? They complicate their lives and then spend their time justifying why. Like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, what did he also say? He said they'd step on their own dick and then look at the imprint and try to figure out what happened.
Oh, that's a Carlism. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
Stepping on their own dicks and analyzing the footprint.
Yeah.
Probably the best Carlism out there.
Oh, that's the best.
So yeah, we are stupid. And that's the problem is, like, I love the message of guys are stupid and need to stop being stupid. But then the other side of, like, Shrieking Harpies loves that. And the trads love that. And I'm like, no, not like that, though. Don't be stupid. Not like this, though. Do it properly. That's why you have to throw a lot of, like, low-key misogyny in there just to scare off those people so you can keep reasonable people, normal people, kind people. You need some misogyny in your heart. Otherwise, you end up catching retards.
just a healthy level of misogyny.
Healthy level. Oh, no. Don't pay attention to my camera.
Oh, the dogs come after you?
No, it's the my battery acts up, and sometimes
I was worried you were getting swatted.
But I'm still here.
Yeah, I've had that one.
All right, what were we shooting on then? Oh yeah, stupid guys. Yeah, that's the part that annoys me out of all this, because like there's like a group of girls, and the girls always like the girls' side. What is it like? She cheated on you. Well, what did you do? She stabbed you. Oh my god, you didn't get out of the way. And then there's the
Yeah,
trad
that's
guys.
it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the trad guys are the same way. Well, a real man could handle a stab wound or
boy.
two. And then you got on the
Exactly.
other side the
You
angry.
should have prayed harder.
Yeah,
and
and
the
then the
knife
angry
wouldn't have
incel guys on
penetrated
the
as
other
deep.
side that all they want to hear is call her a bitch and end the stream. It's like, relax, man. And I don't even want to say there's a middle ground because it's not in the middle. There's like a calibrated ground. Sorry, I'm coughing. Excuse me. Calibrated, where you just have to understand, yeah, everybody's a piece of shit in their own particular way. It's not always equal. And what do you want out of this? And it's so hard for considering narcissism is like a worldwide phenomenon right now. Getting people to focus on themselves is impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta mute.
No worries, man. No worries. Yeah, I found it interesting, Paul, that the guys just really missed some of the basics in this. And him having her in therapy means that he did want to invest in her. You know, she had an investment from him. But boy, if you're going to do that, guys, there's a lot of risk there. Because when you're in a good relationship and you can hit some of those, you don't have those red flags or those added liabilities. It just clicks. It's rather seamless when it clicks. Kind of like what Aaron was saying earlier about what if it's opposite? What if she's doting and making the effort? I don't really see that in this relationship.
That's not what's happening here. And that was a large part of what my stream was on yesterday about like how you can't save her. It was on how there's nothing wrong with doing nice things for a chick that's invested in you. That's
right.
That's putting in her own investment into your relationship.
And you should.
Right. You should absolutely do that. But it can't be one-sided. It can't be like you're doing all this stuff to try to help her out, trying to, swoop in and do every little thing, ride in on your white horse and do every little possible thing to, get brownie points from her, and then her not giving anything back in return.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work out. And guys end up on the losing end of that and go, well, I did all this stuff. I did all this stuff for her. And she did, it's like, well, why the fuck did you do all that stuff? No one asked you to.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Guys volunteer that stuff. Like chicks don't necessarily ask for that stuff,
Nope. They're rewards. Gifts are rewards.
Yeah.
Like I'll get some flowers at Costco every once in a while.
Ooh, big spender.
It's $9.99. It always gets a great reaction because I can get the lilies at Costco. My girl, she's cleaning all day. She's cooking food, taking care of my kids. That's all I got to do. like once a month, I give her some flowers. I'm the greatest man in the world.
Well, yeah, that's why they're at the till by the grocery stores. And sometimes little gestures. I think girls just like to know you're thinking about them. That, and if you can flex on it, like giving her the flowers in front of her friends, huge flex.
Yep.
See, I
don't do it.
See a lot of guys also will do that. I made that mistake. I made that mistake when I was in my relationship with Red Pill chick. If you guys listen to my podcast, she's the chick that got me into this fucking space. There's always one, right? And that chick, I was trying to get the brownie points. So every month for 4 fucking years, I bought this chick flowers and had them sent to her work, just so that all the other girls would be jelly, and I did that as a covert contract, right? I did that because I was trying to get the brownie points, trying to be that guy, and I realized it was fucking meaningless. It was absolutely meaningless, So I don't give my current girlfriend, Nurse Chick, I don't give her flowers at all, but I do other things for her, and she is super invested in this relationship. She actually, if anyone's earned flowers, it's her. But I look at flowers like they're not that special to begin with. So I prefer to do other things,
So you guys know the biggest flex for the gals really when they're into you is you being on task, you being self-centered, you doing what you do is the biggest flex for them. Yeah. I mean, I've heard this publicly by women that just adore their men.
You want your girl to shit test you and give you a hard time? Do something unproductive for a while, like play video games or something else useless. See how that level of snide remarks and comments and emotional outbursts. See how that changes and fluctuates.
Oh, dude, the filling your schedule with shit thing. Sometimes I just don't want to do anything. Those are annoying. No, we could totally start this new project. I'm like, we could.
Yeah.
They figure out, well, if I don't have to ask them for permission, maybe I'll just beg for forgiveness. And then they start the project, and now it's half done. So if you don't help, it's not going to get finished. And they're like, I don't like you put me in this situation, woman.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
the key,
kind of cute.
The key to that is find your own projects. Work on shit that you actually want to do, and stay busy that way. Otherwise, she'll find shit for you to do.
Maybe that's why guys get into Warhammer. Those dioramas take a lot of spare time. Maybe. Nobody actually likes the Space Marines after all this. I just don't want her to have me redo the kitchen again. Painting your fig.
I banned my my now ex-wife. I banned her from watching shows like Trading Spaces and shit because she would always come up with grand ideas. Hey, we could do this project. Who the fuck is we? Like
you.
Yeah, me. I could do this for no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always love this. I like these. These are real problems, and they're not big problems, but they're problems real guys have. It's so much better than nonsense we have on Twitter. Like, would you rather sleep with Hulk Hogan with a dick or no? The answer is obviously yes. I'm a Hulkamaniac, but that's not the point. The point is that that's the best relationship topic you can discuss right now. It just shows you how far gone people are from reality, man. Although Megan Fox was good, but yeah, no, Hulkamania. All right, actually, here, Paul, here's one for you. Okay. Hulk Hogan with a dick or Ultimate Warrior with a vagina?
Dude, choices.
Oh, yeah.
So ridiculous.
So stupid.
Hashtag WrestleMania 7. Which is it, boys?
That's a good time to plug.
What did you say? Vagina Mania 7?
Yeah, Vagina Mania. Oh, hey, the belt. How'd you get that done, by the way? I haven't asked.
That jabroni through a fucking table. Yeah.
I forgot to ask. How did you get that?
How did I get that? Dude, I fucking earned it. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Exactly.
Everybody knows
How
that
did the
shit.
guy who
I
earned it from get it?
On my...
How is it? How is the thing you earned manufactured?
Order it from a catalog.
Shh.
Come on, kayfabe.
Come on, man. Hold it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm
Hold
doing
it
the
together.
behind the scene things. Well, fuck it. I guess he has to get power bombed. All right.
Exactly.
No, dude, we're going off on a tangent here, but Glenn actually is working with a booker in Vegas, and we have a ring. We're actually doing it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
gonna fucking crack him over the head with a steel chair about a dozen times. That's the plan. Yeah.
I hope one of you guys gets like 15 clowns to come on from underneath the stage and start hitting people with like chairs and stuff at the end. I always loved those doink matches. You guys remember those? He'd come out with all his clown makeup and they'd start the fight. And then as soon as he starts losing, like 15 doink, the clowns come from under the ring, start stomping the guy, and he gets disqualified and kicked out.
Yeah.
There's always like the one midget clown there too. And I'm like, this is one of the best. It's silly, but it was one of my favorite wrestling gimmicks.
Yeah.
Way up there with like Papa Shanga and then Virgil as the slave to the rich white guy.
I think we need to get those noisemakers that they used to clap together that you blow up, but they got to be shaped like red pills.
Oh,
And you start hitting each other with those and throwing.
I mean, it can't be any worse for branding than Fresh and Pearl have already been doing. So fuck it. Why not?
Why not?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, yeah, congratulations on that for everybody. Red Pill. If you ever get on Pierce Morgan, you get to have midwit soccer moms shitting on you for 3 weeks. Pearl is making the rounds, and oh my god, normie Twitter is losing their minds.
They sure are.
They really are racist against redheads. I swear to God.
They're wound up. Normie. The normie world is wound up, I think.
So that's the funny thing. I noticed too. They're either mad at Pearl for that, or they're mad at the Jonah Hill thing. But the same, like, it's like you can't be mad at both. It almost lets you know there's two classes of female outrage out there: hating that bitch or defending that bitch. There might be something to it. I don't know.
We'll see.
We got a super chat here from Unrealized Thoughts. It says, should a girl be red pilled, i.e., any of them in the same space? And how long do you see them staying? The red pill is a bit too diluted now with too many voices. We kind of talked about this already. We have a bunch of red pill commentators. We have a bunch of people commenting on the red pill space, and most of them are grifters who have never actually read any of the literature or studied any of the things. They don't know anything about it. They're just commenting on comments of comments.
Yeah. I wouldn't trust any girl here. Any girl that said she's red pilled is obviously trying to pull a fast one on me. Fuck that.
I mean, intrinsically, girls are red pilled. They just don't know how to talk about it. They just do red pill.
Yeah, they're red pilled to their own interests.
Right.
Fair.
But yeah, no way.
But if you want to go date Torsha or Allie or Pearl or no, the guy in the chat. Who are the other ones? How many others are there? Oh, the Sneeko chick, the one I told to eat a bag of dicks. Like, you want to go date one of those? You go give her. Allie, don't date her. She's like a single mom now. So, or I guess not single. Never mind. I don't know why I'm shitting on Allie. I like her.
She's a married mom. She's
a married mom.
She used the knowledge to her advantage. It looks like she got what she wanted.
Well, that's what most red pill girls do. The ones that actually succeed. I remember back in the days, 7 years ago, there was this chick, Claire, same thing. She was voracious. She read everything. Her fiance was a Wall Street type and he cheated on her and she got over it and read through all this stuff and then found herself another fiance a year later, got married, and then I've never seen her since. She came.
She's living her life, living the dream.
Darla, another thing. She was like the boss bitch New Yorker and then found out, stop being a boss bitch and guys will like you. Married her firefighter Doug and they're living a happy life and she fucked off too.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you're dating a girl and she says she's red pilled, it's probably because she's like can't figure out how to go from reading Rollo's article on bitches ain't shit to finding a good man. So you kind of shouldn't trust it.
I think so too.
I would laugh if he has that article though. Like Whammon ain't shit.
That's not the real Nuke.
No.
Nuke's made it. He's getting fake accounts made. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, we'll have him on the Dragon Ship later. We're going to talk about red pill books, by the way, and yours too, Ryan. We're going to talk about your book too.
Hey, I just finished your book, Ryan.
Did you?
Good book, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sirs.
I liked it.
I fucking hate the thing. I'm glad at least somebody likes it.
No, I've been plugging it quite a bit because I got a lot of stuff out of it.
Yeah, I see the quotes. It's nice. I like it, but I appreciate it.
I understand the self-hatred on writing books now.
Yeah, you get it? Yeah. Once that third draft, it's into the third draft is when you really start to like want to punch yourself. Like, why the fuck are you doing
burn this fucking thing?
It's a good cover, by the way. I like that. I like how you put on a suit for it. It's nice.
Yeah, not so bad.
I'm just saying.
Available on Amazon. Well. Yeah, thank you.
Actually, Thor's book's pretty good too. I finished his book too. The rough draft audio version, but that was good too.
I got to work on the.
I got the notepad all in Courier.
I'm sorry. I gave you the shitty version I gave Nick.
It's fine. I'm halfway through it. I'm halfway.
I gave you the shitty version I gave Nick. It's the one before all the little formatting and all the freaking capitalization fixes.
Well, isn't Nick an editor? Like, isn't he supposed to get the shitty version?
He did a good job. I mean, it really inspired me.
You should see the versions of my book he gets. Oh, dude, the shit's illiterate.
You know what? It's worth every penny though, because I can't see it. After you look at your book for so long, do you do the same thing, Ryan? I can look at it a million times and I don't see the same shit he sees. Yeah.
Like there's tricks you can do where you read it backwards. Oh. So that way you're not looking and remembering what you wanted to say. You're actually seeing what you actually wrote. That helps. But from his perspective, because he doesn't know what you're thinking. Right. So he only knows what you've written. So if you're missing something, like the most common comment on mine was like, what? W-U-T.
Yep. And it totally helped. That same thing for me. Like, what the fuck? Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it.
Sounds like I need another paragraph in here to explain this.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful and big tip.
So if you guys want, if you're writing a book, hire Nick August, the Nick August on Twitter as your editor, if he'll take you, because it sounds like he's getting a lot of extra work from us plugging him, and he doesn't want it. So
I know,
which is fine.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have for him.
I'd say.
Yeah,
but,
so
we're getting close to the 10 o'clock mark here. You guys want to start wrapping things up? We'll go around and see what everybody's up to. Start off with Mr. Paul.
I get to start. This is great. Man, I got a lot of stuff going on. Get on the email list. I put out a PDF of 20 dating app openers that you can use if you sign up for the email list. What else is going on? This Thursday is going to be happy hour hangout for the Patreon. So if you want to join a bunch of like-minded guys, have some beers and just talk about guy shit, much like this, then join the Patreon. You can join for as little as $10. There's also a free trial now. So I've got that enabled. Check that out. What else is going on? Oh, and then Patreon members all month are getting the Practical Law of Attraction course for $25 for 25% off too. So if you join, you'll get that coupon code as well. And tune in Monday. I've got one of my 3% brothers on there. His name is Myers, and Myers was a guy who was black pill. He's married, right? He's married, but he was starting to go down this black pill path. And he was really like resenting his wife, hating women in general and all this stuff. And then he found my TikTok videos a couple of years ago, started reading the books that I recommend, and turned his marriage around, turned his life around. It's a pretty inspiring story. So tune into that on Monday. That's pretty much all I got. You can find all that stuff here, comeonmanpod.com.
Cool.
Yeah. It's great, guys.
You always recommend a lot.
We got
there we go.
Ryan Stone up here.
So I'm supposed to reach out to Archwinger. If you guys don't know who that is, you'll learn soon. And we're supposed to have a little collab coming up, which would be nice. Beyond that, though, and it'll probably be on Saturday, even if I have to pre-record it. The rest is really I'm just focused on book 3 and on the second channel. So follow me on Digital Ryan. It's more casual stuff. It's kind of gaming related in that. Book 3, it's on the Substack. So just go to Substack, the Ryan Stone Substack. Just look for Ryan Stone on it. I could probably get a link, but I can't type in this restream thing here. You'll follow book 3 as it's getting written, so you can follow through on the first draft. I guarantee you a lot of stuff is going to be cut and polished out of this first rough draft when it gets to the second draft and then a third draft before it goes out. I always say it's like watching a comedian perform live, and then you get to watch the Netflix special that's all polished up 6 months later. So that's it for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I might have to look at that. Yeah,
you're up. What's up?
Newest thing for me, book just published, A Dominant Masculine Presence. Take a look at it on Amazon. At least a part of the struggle is over. Now I got to struggle with the audiobook, which will come out by the end of summer. I'm going to try to read that myself. So besides that, you got the Dragon Ship in about a half an hour coming on, and we're going to talk about Red Pill Tomes of Knowledge. So come check that out on the Dragon Ship on RP Thor channel. And yeah, thanks, man. Good conversation today. Enjoy, you guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. John Fitch, go to johnfitch.net, sign up for the newsletter. I have stuff coming up. If you guys are going to be in Vegas, July 29th. Is this Sharon?
Cool.
Where's there it is. Right there. $50, 12 to 2 at One Kicks Gym in Las Vegas, July 29th. I'll be there. I'm also going to be doing a wrestling camp.
Oh, damn.
All right. Doing a wrestling camp coming up here, 24th, 26th. $300 for the whole camp or $150 per day. We got 3 different things going down each day. I'm going to be filming a lot of the stuff, so I'll have a lot more programs and stuff available. I'm going to be in Fort Wayne teaching a couple seminars also in August. I'm going to be in Lafayette August 4th. So be in Indiana teaching the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then I'll have a spot available to do small groups and privates, stuff like that when I'm there also. So a lot of stuff coming up. Of course, check the stuff in the description. I've got, self-defense programs in there. I've got the intro to practical self-defense, which is free. Get your feet wet, learn something, stop being a pussy. And we got one last super chat I want to address before we go. Lord Venom says, what is with the increase? He says off topic. What is with the increase with women and their obsession with getting nose rings? It's ridiculous.
The fucking septum piercings are disgusting. I am a huge proponent of banning those.
I think it's all like a feminist type thing where you're trying to make beautiful things as ugly as possible. So the women are now getting covered head to toe in tattoos, purple, blue hairs, lip fillers, fat plastic surgery, fake tits, fake asses, fake everything. It's like being normal and normally God-givenly beautiful is now like something they try to destroy. It's like those memes you see. It's like, don't let your daughter catch leftism. And they show the girl as like a 16-year-old, and she looks like the girl next door, and she's happy. And then it shows her after like 2 years of college, and she's all goth and like tits are cut off and piercings everywhere.
I will say on a serious note, though, when a lot of girls get the Uncle Touchy experience, a lot of them, they change their appearance as a way of like reclaiming their sexuality.
The
which is why you notice when celebrities have like their little sexual assault, like he made me do coke and then diddled me at the party, they shave their heads right after. So it could be that. That's another reason to avoid all of this stuff. Not even the liberalism part, but chances are she could be recovering from psychological and sexual trauma. And, you know, I hope they recover, but I don't know if that's my business to fix.
Her mental issues are not your problem.
Yeah.
Just refer to those things as nature signaling to you that there's something venomous and toxic there. You should steer clear of it.
Speaking of things that got chicks to lose their collective mind on the internet. Or do you not remember when AJ Cortez did that? His little aposematic thing. And then everybody was like, actually, we're doing it because we hate you, you small dick prick. It was like 6 weeks of that. It was fucking magnificent.
You got little pee-pee energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, that was a good show.
Very good show. Thanks, man. Let's go.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Okay.